Hi guys, so I recently had the opportunity of shooting an entire series of Indian cooking for an international app which was shot all the way in Spain. Now I'm very fortunate that I'm being able to share this on my YouTube channel because given my growing international audience, I thought a series in English will be well appreciated. Isme na, we have simple recipes like how to boil rice, how to make paratha, to some more exotic recipes like tikki chole and biryani. So all of this is available on this entire series. Do watch it and don't forget to share your feedback. Hi, I'm Chef Amrita Raichand and I welcome you back to watch yet another staple recipe and something that is a part of every Indian meal. Dal, which is in English called lentils. But the interesting thing to note is the variety of lentils that are available. In fact, I've been going around the European markets and I'm amazed pleasantly to see how many types of dals are available here as well. Now, let me teach you the trick of making dal. You can make any type of dal you want in any way that you like. The magic is in the tempering, which also is of many, many types. I'll keep showing you different types, but today I'm going to make a dal which I learned how to make and I cooked it for the first time when I was 8 years old. This was a staple in my home. I come from a small town in India, and this is something that is very commonly eaten. It's a little different from the regular dal tadkas you're used to. So let's begin. All right, so today we are going to make Toor dal, which in English is called split pigeon peas. Okay, now this has a very unique and very flavorful taste, and trust me, it's magical, like I said. All right, so I'm adding the dal in the pressure cooker. Now, this dal has been washed at least 5 to 6 times because you want all the dirt and all the polish. Very often when you buy dals in packets, they're polished. So you need to ensure that all of that polish is washed away. So, and the other thing to note while making dal is that the water always has to be 3 times the quantity. So I've taken 1 cup of dal and I've added 3 cups, exactly 3 cups of water to it. So in it goes. Now I'm going to add a couple of things to it. I'm going to add some ginger. Unfortunately, I could not find hing in Spain where we are recording this. Hing is asafoetida. If you can get your hands on it, I will highly recommend that for you. And that's going to come while tempering. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm making a little change in the recipe and adding some slices of ginger because dal sometimes can get a little heavy to digest. So these are additions that help you digest any food better. So I'm going to add some slices of ginger, just a few slices, not too many. I think that should be enough. I'm also going to add 2 pieces of slit green chili. You can totally avoid it if you don't have a palate for spicy food. Not that this much is going to make it spicy. It's just going to add a little hint of kick, which you will enjoy. Trust me. Now I'm adding some salt to taste and a little bit of turmeric powder. Oops. And then we're going to close the lid. All right, we've closed the lid and now we're going to allow it to cook for 3 to 4 whistles. So we're going to wait for that and then we are going to get on to the more exciting part of cooking the dal, which is the tadka, as we call it in India. Basically, it's tempering. All right, so it's been about 7 to 8 minutes. Usually we have whistles, but this is a European pressure cooker. It works differently. So we are going to time it and we're going to move this to the side. And when the pressure is released, we are going to check for the consistency. Now, while we're waiting for this, we could start with the tempering, but I have a little principle when it comes to making dal. Tempering always has to be done right in the end. When you're happy with the consistency, when you're happy with the seasoning, you pour it inside the serving dish and then finally do the tempering because you want that sizzle and you want that freshness of the tempering. You're going to watch it. Ooh, it's cooked beautifully. But guess what's happened? All the water is gone. Not to worry, because dal again is very, very easy to make. It's a very forgiving recipe. All I have to do is add boiling water to it. And then we're also going to blend it together because we don't want the lentils to be separate. We want it mixed with the water. So wait and watch. I'm going to add some boiling water to this. Start with little. Now, can you see as I move my spoon is already mashing on its own. Okay, so we're gonna just use the spoon to mash it further. I'm going to increase the temperature because I'm just getting the hang of this induction. Okay, and I'm going to add some more water now. Again, this is up to you how thick you want the dal to be. If you want it more runny, you can add some more water. If you want it thicker, you can add less water. But after adding water, you need to bring this to a boil again. You need to cook so that all the flavors get amalgamated together. So we're going to allow it to boil, and then I'm going to check for seasoning, get this ready, the consistency. Once I'm happy with it, then we're going to do the tempering. Okay. Now, just to mix the lentils, what's also a good idea is to use a whisk. So in India, we have something which is called makhani. It's a Indian word, and it's usually made of wood. So we go like this, like this. It's a very traditional way of mashing the dal. But I'll make do with the whisk right now. Now, you don't have to mash the dal completely. You can leave a few pieces if you like, but if it's mashed, the smoother the consistency, the better it tastes. I'm going to check for seasoning. Mm, yum. It's absolutely yum. And it's going to get even better after the tempering is done. Okay, so let's get this out. Mm, I'm loving the aroma. And for all those who think Indian food, the aromas are overwhelming, think again because they are just beautiful and they're really, really great for the senses, for the body, and for the soul as well. There, that should be good for the moment. I'm just going to move this away. Well, my dal is ready, almost. Let's get on with the main step of dal. Here I have a pan. Let's heat this. All right, so I'm adding some oil to a hot pan. And yes, I know of whatever you've heard of dal tadka, it's very often made with ghee, clarified butter, which I also love. But in this particular type of lentil preparation that I'm making, the one that I grew up eating, we're going to just use some oil and fry the onions in it. But don't worry, I'm going to show you many more dal recipes going ahead, and some of them will be made with ghee as well. So for the moment, we've heated the oil. The moment the oil is hot enough, I'm going to add some cumin seeds. Jeera, as we call it in India. This is a very, very important ingredient in any dal tadka. Now, at this point is when I would have liked to add the hing, the asafoetida, but since we don't have it, we'll just make do with the jeera. The moment you start getting the aroma of the cumin seeds cooking is when you add in the onions. Again, I'm using a mix of red and white onions, and you can be as generous as you like with them. Because like you see in this tadka, nothing else but onions is going in. So here also you can use any oil of choice. You can use your regular cooking olive oil. You can use rice bran oil. You can use sunflower oil. You can use groundnut oil. You can just use any oil of choice except ghee. Actually, what the hell? You can use ghee as well. It's only going to add to the flavor because That's the beauty of ghee. You add it to anything and it just elevates the flavor by so many folds. Okay, now it's really important to brown these onions well. I'll show you what happens. You can't leave it at this stage, but keep stirring it because onions, they're a little funny. From undercooked to burning, there's hardly a little time. So you need to keep stirring because you don't want the onions to be burnt, but you want them nice and brown. Okay, you can see the color of the onions changing. They're getting golden brown. We're going to just wait for the rest of the onions also to catch the same color before we finish this up. Okay, getting there, getting there. I love this part. So whenever my mom used to cook this, it used to be quite it used to be quite fun watching her because it had to be at the right moment where the red chili powder goes in. And the moment the red chili powder will be added, you have to turn the flame off because you don't want to burn the red chili powder. All right. So, okay, we are there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do the magic. Can you see this beautiful color of the onions? Okay, I can see the difference in color also because I've used a mix of red and white onions, and that is why it's different. Here goes in the red chili powder, and we're going to use the one which is not spicy. Immediately mix this in. Take it off the flame, like I said. You don't want to burn the chili powder. Okay, and there. Just going to get a little bit of the dal back in this pan for all that remaining flavor. Okay, the tarka is done. We're going to just add a final garnish. Going to remove the stem, though stems are very, very flavorful as well. But for this dal, you don't want the stem. Just add it on the sides because you want the red tarka to show in the center. There. A delicious bowl of dal is ready. Isn't it lovely? Now you can have it with rice, you can have it with parathas. I've made parathas as well. You can just have it by itself. And you know what? Actually, when you boil the dal, this one had really dried up. Remember? Because of this new pressure cooker I'm not used to. But otherwise, when you open the lid, you usually see the water separated from the lentils. Now that water, that's the dal water, is really good for the stomach. If you're sick, you can have just that plain dal water. And trust me, it's very, very good. So that's the dal recipe. This particular dal recipe is my favorite. Do try it and do let me know how you like it. Now, I know a lot of you use the pressure cooker for rice, right? The rice cooker, as it's commonly called, and it's perfectly all right to use it. In fact, it saves a lot of time. But for those who want the excess starch to be out, they want the rice to be lighter, not very filling, this is the way to do it. So let's begin. All right, so we're going to begin with 1 cup of basmati rice, but you can use the rice of choice. Luckily, this boiling method of cooking rice is very forgiving, and you can keep altering the process as you go. I'll show you how. All right, now we're going to wash this rice. All right, so you want to wash this rice really well. 2-3 reasons. First, if there is any excess dirt or grit that comes out in the first part of the washing, then you do it a couple of times till there is clear water. And then that's the point, the rice is ready to be cooked. Now I've added some water here and we're going to bring it to a boil. We are going to generously season this with salt. Don't worry, this excess salt is going to get drained away when we drain the rice. All right, and now we'll just add a dash of oil, just a few drops. This is optional, but I really like it. I'm going to add a couple of, actually 3 pods of green cardamom, which really adds so much flavor to the rice. But perfectly all right if you don't add this as well. And if you want to make it even more flavorful, you may add cinnamon, you may add some star anise. All right, now let it come to a rolling boil like it has. And then we're going to add this squeaky clean rice into the water, but be careful because the water is boiling. You don't want it splashing and burning you, right? So just stay away a little bit. Okay, now there's one thing that I learned from my mother, and I think we all know, no wastage of food, right? So I'm going to make sure each and every grain of rice is in, even if I must dirty my hands a bit. All right, move this away. And now we're going to boil this for about 8 to 10 minutes. Now you don't want the rice to get clumpy and sticky. So that's why just stir it a few times while the entire process is going on. Now, if you remember, I told you that this method of boiling rice is very forgiving. Now, if you think that the water is less, you can always add some hot water to it, right? So don't worry if you are not clear with the proportions. Ideally, when you boil rice in this method, the water has to be at least 5 to 6 times the quantity of rice. Now, as you can see, I feel this needs a little more water, so I'm going to add some. Yeah, it's a lot, but who cares? It's all going to get drained out. All right, this is done. Let's move this and drain it. Now, what I'm going to do is, here is a strainer, but I'm going to keep a bowl below it. I'll explain why to you in a while. Okay, now can you see how nice and fluffy this looks? All right, so now the rice is done. You can see it's nice and fluffy, and as the excess water is going to drain off the strainer, it's going to get even fluffier. All right, so now in this kind of cooking of rice, boiling of rice, the water is not important, nothing is important. What is important is the amount of time you boil the rice for, because that will ensure whether your rice is fluffy like this or clumpy and sticky. Now, the water that I have drained out, yes, it is high in starch, but it's also very high in protein. So if you want, you can use it while kneading dough, or you can add a little bit in your soups or dals. Okay, so what we do in Indian homes is after we drain the rice, we just leave it in the colander for a little while so that all the excess water just drips away, and what you're left with is fluffy rice. Ah, it's smelling so beautiful. Here you go, my perfectly boiled rice is ready.